Hey, everybody, it's Dr. Dana Martin, your host on the Sith podcast. Good evening. Hello, Cam. Hello, Zane. Welcome to the show. How are y'all doing? Sorry we miss you, Debbie. Hopefully,
Miss you,
Solo Girl
Debbie.
will join.
We missed the positivity.
I know.
Is next
I'm
episode
lo-
my turn to take off? Seems like we're doing turns now.
Maybe
I'm
it's my
locked in.
turn.
You're lo-
Cam, welcome back.
Hello.
It was a shorter episode without you last week, that's for sure.
You can blame the McDonald's and the food poisoning, my
well, I
guy.
was about to say, well, you go to the McDonald's, you get what you pay for. That's
I'm telling you, it was good, but it was not fun.
No. That's all right. We appreciate you jumping in too, because got to keep the combo going. Zane, how was your week, man?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. A lot of driving.
Yeah. I heard you got to hang out with your old man a little bit over the holiday weekend.
Nah, that's a lie.
No? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Actually, it was pretty cool. It was fun. Stayed up too late playing music. My fingers hurt because
We stayed up till like
9:30. Okay. No, it was like midnight. It was like midnight. One time we stayed up way past her. If you know that movie quote.
This one time in band camp?
No, not that one. Oh my goodness. So, Star Wars news. Next week we have The Acolyte. First impressions seem to be pretty good from what I read. What have you guys read or heard?
I've heard similar things. I hope the things are true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it was superb. Someone said superb in their review. And I'm hoping, really hoping.
So was there, I saw an article and it could have just been a totally different reference. The Masasi, which is Yavin, where those temples were on Yavin, the forest, etc. on the Yavin 4. So the Masasi, I saw something about them and I didn't know if maybe this whole forest planet that we see in the previews maybe had something to do with them, but it could have just been a different article. But that's who initially were in the forest of Yavin. That's the temple, old Masasi temple that the rebels were housed in before their attack on the Death Star. Little lore. There's
their
also
acts of terrorism.
Before their acts of terrorism. It's treason then. Not yet. So one of the cool things in those books, I keep talking about them. Just go out and read them or get them on Audible. I think there's 6 of them of the Rogue Squadron books. Luke's in them. The whole crew's in them. But the rest of the crew is really secondary and sometimes tertiary. The main characters are Rogue Squadron. So you've got like Wedge Antilles and Karan Horn and like all these cats that use it. Nibnub, all those cats. Nibnub, yeah. Well, he makes an appearance too in the Rise of Skywalker. He's in there too, right? So fighting. But yeah, I don't know, man. Those books. We were talking a little bit about this in the pregame too. There's just a lot of content out there. It's so good. So when it comes to the Acolyte, we were talking about potentially Treya and Bane. What did that look like? What did they say, or how did they allude to that? Because I didn't read that article.
It was something to do with Treya. The director or whatever said that Treya had like influenced. Like she had used Treya as an influence during making of Acolyte.
Well, that could be very interesting because Treya played very loose with the whole.
The Acolyte showrunner Leslie Headland,
Yep.
to the right, has stated Darth Treya as an influence for the series.
She was one of those that we talked about that had great influence and could really not manipulate but influence people. She allowed what's his name to live? Nyla. Yeah, right? No, son.
No,
Nihilus?
I think it was Nihilus.
it was probably
Yeah, she subdued his hunger. That's what I was going at. Yeah. So, I'll scratch your back. You help me out. I'll make you not be so hungry to kill planets. But
Such a
so
badass ability.
Yeah, it
So
is.
badass.
It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out in the next round. I think what's fun about this is, one, AI is putting all that together, but two, it gives us some fodder because, I mean, there's things that we know, I think, about these characters through the games that like AI is not going to know. They're only going to know Wiki or Wookiee or whatever it can find, right? But yeah. So on the news front, George said what one of y'all brought up in the pre-show about what he had said about storytelling. Yeah, I can. What did he say? What did he say?
He was just kind of letting it loose about people like kind of modern day Hollywood, and honestly just the lack of creativity, I think, with showrunners and producers and kind of the Disney era Star Wars. There were a couple tidbits there. Just think he was he does this every now and then, sometimes privately.
Yeah.
Somebody will leak a quote, and then he was like accepting an award, I think, at the Cons. I don't know how you say it, festival. So,
Conscious. Yeah.
But he was just kind of venting, I think, a little bit. Some stuff I don't think he's wrong, but
so that's right. You shot me that article, and they're making reference to a book too that's supposed to come out in June, the High Republic series, Star Wars: Temptation of the Force. So I guess this is all kind of a way to spark some interest in another book. I don't want to say that's all it is, but you're right. Lucas does come out every now and then and kind of mumble under his breath a few things. But I really think you could look at his storytelling and know that pretty much every trope has already been played before he put it into a movie, and he just had a right combination of them. I mean,
yeah, I think Zane made a good comment in the pre-show. I mean, he did it well. Whatever trope he decided to use, he did it well, and he kind of did it with, I don't know, respect, homage, I guess, to what had come before, and I don't know. He's not the best dialogue writer, those type of things, but I think just as a pure visionary and a world builder, probably outside of Tolkien, there's probably never been someone better, I would say.
mm-hmm.
I think for cinema, he's probably the best. But
yeah, so maybe it's more of the it's the dunk contest, and I can jump from the free throw line and dunk it, but that's already been done. So now I'm going to jump from the free throw line and dunk it. It's the same dunk, but this time I'm going to go like this where I can't see, and it's going to make it a little cooler and a little better. Mm-hmm. So maybe if we look at it through a lens like that, I can get on board with that. I think that, yeah, he knows how to storytell and put things together in such a way that it's just better. He makes it better.
Yeah. There is a book or more of an author that he had used. I remember learning about this in high school. The book is The Power of Myth.
Power of Myth. Yeah.
By Joseph Campbell, right? Campbell. And he uses a lot of those tropes within myth to really push his story. However, he's not copying a story. He is kind of like in music. He is taking different bits and pieces from here and here and here, and he is forming them into his own thing. You know, he's not just adding a squiggly line on the vase that looks exactly like someone else's. Maybe he's creasing it a little, you know? Maybe he's making a little hole somewhere. Dots and squiggly lines.
Yes, but I did it like this. Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of difference, I think, from when you talk to a 12-year-old Ryan Johnson telling stories, and then I don't think Cam heard me say that under my breath.
I heard you.
Okay. I'm not wrong. 12-year-old telling stories versus Lucas, who's the grandpa telling stories. Is that fair?
No, it's fair. I hate Ryan Johnson, so
We try not to use the word hate unless we're
Dislike.
talking about sand.
Dislike.
I thoroughly do not enjoy his content that he made for Star Wars, particularly when it comes to Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. I severely disapprove.
A severe distaste.
Disdain. It's more disdain.
I will never ever watch that movie ever again. My children will never see it unless they choose to themselves.
But
I don't think I've seen it a single time out of the theaters. I might have seen it once or twice after.
Nope. I refuse. I'm not going to.
Rise of Skywalker?
Not seeing that
Last
either.
Last Jedi.
Last Jedi?
I don't know if I've seen Rise of Skywalker out of theaters. I watched it like 3 or 4 times in theaters, but
I was visibly sick after I watched that movie, so I'm never going to watch it again either. Brings up
Do you
bad
think-
memories.
You got your hopes up with the last, or with whatever that first one was, not The Last Jedi.
The Force Awakens.
Force Awakens. Did you get your hopes up a little bit with what might happen and what might be going on? And
was
that bubble
interesting.
got burst? Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
everybody did.
But I think, in all fairness, it was them. Like they knew what story they were telling, and they knew where the fans would go. So, seriously, like, why would you do that? We belabor this point, but damn, dude.
No, they didn't know. That's the problem. I think it's the opposite. They did. I mean, each director had their own vision, yeah, but they didn't know where they were gonna go. Like, I know Ryan had to ask JJ to change a couple scenes in Force Awakens, but they had no idea where they were going. I mean, Daisy Ridley said like they were in like day 60 of filming and didn't even know who Rey's heritage was. She was a Kenobi, a Skywalker, a real Skywalker or whatever, and a Palpatine and
Kind of cool.
all that. I mean, I think that's the problem.
You know, you could have taken that Kenobi direction and have it end, not the meat of it, but have it end similarly where she completes the circle of the relationship between Obi-Wan and Anakin. And that would have been mind-blowing, wonderful end to the saga, in my opinion. I haven't read that anywhere. I'm sure other people have thought of that.
I think
As
she could
well.
have just been a
That would-
nobody, and that would have been fine.
That would make sense. The Kenobi, because of the diet in the Force,
Yeah.
it would make more sense, I think.
And then she's as
Nobody
a
would
Kenobi
do it.
now on the Lars homestead where Luke, where she's taking up the reins at this spot for eternity for whatever. I don't know. I felt like, and maybe some of that we were talking about the video games in pre-show too, that I didn't include the Emperor from SWTOR, but I think some of the video games skew us a bit too. We know a little bit more about Tatooine than what the movies reveal. We know more about that relationship that Obi-Wan had, especially of late, based on some of the storytelling in the show, but also the books. We also get in the video games lore in Star Wars Galaxies. There was a lot of lore that came out of that. Or that it reinforced with Kenobi and the relationship there on Tatooine. So, Yeah, you totally, I think, missed the mark on another option there. Could have had that circle close. I don't know. Then you're still in trouble because the force is still out of balance. As far as we know right now, with sabers buried, the force is out of balance because all that's left is Rey. Am I wrong?
Is she a Jedi, light side or dark side?
There's no such thing as a gray Jedi. There is such a thing as a force user that chooses not to follow the dark side.
The Bendu. Someone in between.
Who says that? I choose a Qui-Gon. I choose to follow the light because it's there. Like, I'm not gonna, the absence of light, I'm not gonna follow. So I think Qui-Gon is a good example too of someone that maybe was Jedi in name. I don't know. I when you have too many fingers in the pot, I think it starts getting it gets cloudy. Like you were saying, right? You got hey JJ, can you change this because I'm working? Yeah, like what?
All the decisions are made in a boardroom by a big corporation that doesn't love the IP, which I think is what I kind of read into some of George's comments. Like he said, I knew Star Wars, like, and he could do whatever he wanted with it because it was his. Disney is beholden to their shareholders and their board, and that is who is going to make the decisions for them. So hopefully with the current state of movie making, they'll go back to what they used to do and allow creativity to flow. Let the creatives be creatives. Let the finance bros be the finance bros.
Yeah.
So
I went and saw Fall Guy. I was a fan of the television show way back because I'm that age, and it was amazing. This was nothing like the television show. It had the same name, and that was it. So I will say that in this vein of storytelling and retelling, I think capitalizing on Barbie and telling a little bit different story was actually very creative.
It was a good story.
It was
loved
good. And I didn't want to give it a chance, but I did because I don't consider myself a cinephile, but I enjoy movie watching. And same thing for Fall Guy. I wasn't too excited. I'm not a man crush over what's his name? Ryan Gosling, mostly. So I just
Unless he wants to be on the show, and then.
But I was a Lee Majors fan. He's the Bionic Man too. I mean, Lee Majors was the Fall Guy. He was the Bionic Man. He was freaking awesome. He was Buck Rogers or whatever. Like, this guy was my hero, and now you're gonna replace him with soft kitty face Ryan Gosling. Ugh, no.
I'm not gonna lie. Woods and I watched the second Dune movie. We watched both of them recently in the past couple weekends, and Dune 2 or Part 2 might be one of the best movies I've seen in years.
That's what I hear. I've not seen it yet. I've seen the first one, but not the second one.
It plays. It's the benefit of being like a Part 2, like all the story building and the world building is kind of done in the first film.
Yeah,
I like the first film a lot, but it's definitely a slow burn. But like the second film, and I haven't read the books or anything, but I thoroughly enjoyed my time with that, and I would like to see more movies like that.
Did you see the first Dune from 70 whatever, 80 whatever? Did you see that one? Did you read the book, Zane?
Never.
No, it's got a dictionary in it.
Dude, the book is I've read it, and it took months. I'm not a good reader anyway, but the book's like this thick, like it's ginormous. Clearly, the movie
might take me a whole month to read that.
It's huge. It was great though, and I think what took so long is not only is it a large read, it's you have to be very focused. Like you said, there's a whole dictionary of terms and who the Harkonnens and whatever. Like, you got to be able to follow along. So the first movie, Patrick Stewart was in that, Timothy Dalton, a bunch of big time, but it was cult following. Like, it wasn't like a huge hit at the box office because it was like a 3-hour movie or whatever, and At least it seemed that long. I don't know how long it is, but so I was really looking forward to seeing what they'd be able to do, CGI and all the things. But please don't hurt my story, because that's one I'm very protective of. It's a standalone epic. It's so good, and yeah, I was very pleased with the first one. I thought it was fantastic. So I looking forward to seeing the second one.
It's good. And then I followed up watching those two. We watched The Rings of Power after that.
Oh,
So that was
one of these days I got
not as bad as
the Lord of the Rings one.
not as bad as I was expecting, but it was not great. It's hard to make a second age story when you don't have access to the Silmarillion. So
I have no idea what he just said. What did you say? Was that a joke?
no, like the time period that that the Rings of Power is set in, they do not have access to. Amazon did not have the rights to basically a book that's entirely about the first age and the second age.
Got you.
They only had access to the appendices of the Lord of the Rings, which kind of touches on stuff in the second age, but doesn't go near as in depth. I mean, it was fine. Like, there was cool moments, and it's kind of like shows, kind of like some of the Star Wars shows. But it was probably one of the most beautiful shows I've ever seen. Like, it was cool seeing like Numenor, and the creation of Mordor was cool. I didn't like the way that they did it in terms of somebody's lack of involvement with it, but it was cool. 5 out of 10. I could turn it on while we clean. And
it's a series, right?
Yeah, it's
how many episodes?
In the it's 8. They're all about an hour 15. They're coming. I watched the trailer for the second season, and it kind of looks cool. They're kind of doing like the Sauron, like Anatar storyline, where he goes to the elves and kind of Anatar, like the bringer of gifts and all of that. And so I was like, I guess I got to watch the first season because I'll probably watch this. And it was a grind.
Where does that take out in the timeline? Where's that? Is it pre Lord of the Rings trilogy?
Yeah, it's pre Lord of the Rings. Like, they're making the Rings of Power in the second age.
Okay,
basically.
So yeah, pre Hobbit, pre Lord of the Rings, pre all those things.
Yeah. Okay. It's just they made Galadriel one of the most unlikable characters, and she's your lead. And when you make her very unlikable, it's really hard to root for her when she's your lead. And they did the thing that I hate that everybody's doing now, and I mean, it's a minor spoiler. Like, they try to make Sauron like relatable and kind of a good guy, and he doesn't want to have to do this, and he just wants to blah blah blah. Like, Sauron's evil. He's evil. Let him. He's the Dark Lord. Let him be evil.
Yeah.
Which they're gonna do now, but we just spent 8 episodes, and there's just certain stuff that it's not like unwatchable, but it's a grind. But it's beautiful. You can just like not have the audio.
It's very well done. Like the visual. Yeah, I got you. What?
It's one of the most expensive shows of all time, but
yeah, well aware. Sorry,
I'm yapping.
Sorry, we have no Debbie, so we have a Zane trying to reel us in here.
Yeah, Zane's telling me I got to be quiet, so I'm locked back in.
Guys, this is
dude. If you didn't do that, we were going to go from trilogy into. We have 3 matchups we got to look at tonight. So, see, I was going to use that as the segue. Thank you. But by blaming this on you, I don't look like a jerk, like telling Cam shut up. So, no, this is not a Lord of the Rings Tolkien show. But I will tell you, I love me some Tolkien. So we can do another. We don't have to just do this show. We can do a different show outside of GNN. Shh, don't say anything. Just kidding.
I would totally be game for a Lord of the Rings show.
There isn't a fantasy podcast from what I've seen.
There is not a fantasy podcast. There is a lot of like fantasy game. Well, is Genshin fantasy game? No, that's an anime game. I don't know. Genshin. You're not a fan. Did you play it at all? No, I played it some. It was fun. I played it.
Genshin Impact.
Genshin, Honkai Star Rail.
Read.
It was fun. It was a beautiful game. Like that's why I loved it. It was pretty fantastic. Go check out the article on the latest GNN article on Genshin Impact, the latest update. Who put that out? I think that was. I don't know who put that out, but go check it out. So yes, let's move on now into
Nathaniel. Nathaniel put it out. Nathaniel Cruz Reed.
Thank you, Nathaniel.
Thank you, Nathaniel. There you go, cross-referencing.
I think.
His review. Read it. It's good. So let's take a look at who we have left. We have Darth, Nihilus, Revan, Palpatine, and Vader.
What were the matchups from last week?
Revan. Funny enough, Revan and Nihilus and Palpatine and Vader. So they are the matchups. Before we go into what AI says, who wins this match? Nihilus and Revan, and why?
Do you want me to go first?
What's up, Josiah? I saw you killing
What's
it on the stage. Those pictures, freaking awesome. All right, sorry. Shout out to musician friend and friend of the show, friend of Cam's, Josiah Sutton.
Y'all can go first.
A great musician.
Awesome.
Great guy. Great guy he is.
I saw those clips on Instagram.
Nah.
Y'all check them out.
Yeah. Yes.
Whatever
Absolutely.
it is.
Absolutely. We'll go first. Zane.
No, I'll go last. I'm pretty sure my opinion is different.
When I see this matchup, there's two things that come to mind. First, who can beat Force Devour? Like who I don't and then number two, like, but it's Revan. Like he'd figure out a way. Like he's just that dude. Like strategic, getting the right people around him to be successful. We talked about it at length. I think his knowledge of the Force, especially towards the latter, surpasses. I think that Nihilus would initially, I feel like he should win, but I just feel like Revan would, and that Nihilus would be too focused, too centered on, I'll get to the point where I can drain him from the Force, or drain the Force from him. Whereas Revan's looking at 8 angles. He's a chess player, not a checker player. And I think Nihilus is more of a checkers guy. There.
This is like the Batman Superman argument. We're given like Revan with prep time and knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll go that way. I like that. Yeah. No, I think that Revan has more tricks in his belt.
Really?
I can agree. I kind of have the Nihilus is one of my favorite Sith, but I would agree. I mean, this just kind of feels like, he's just kind of like a freak, kind of, and short-sighted. I feel like, and I think Revan in the end just wins. Revan feels like a contingency type of guy, like he's 2 steps ahead of everybody, type deal. So
yeah, he's got that little tiny smoke bomb of kryptonite gas.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, he's Batman, bro. He's Batman.
I love that. You hungry, bitch?
Just like throws Force kryptonite in the Nihilus's mouth. Dead.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Zane?
Yeah, I'm going.
I know
to
Revan's
go
your boy, but I mean,
with Nihilus.
What?
And it is purely because of how Nihilus was defeated. Nihilus was defeated by Mitra Surik, if y'all don't know, the
Mitra.
Exile. Right? Quick backstory, she was a general for Revan. That's why she was exiled and everything.
Yep.
So what she had to do was to weaken him, she had to draw the life force around her to weaken him, right? Because she had to tire him out. Actually, I have it right here.
Show research rules. Dana's like, hey, you guys know about that guy that did that thing with
Nihilus attempted to absorb Surik's force energy, but failed and exhausted himself because of Surik's ability to draw on the force energy of those around her. They had a brief duel. He stunned the exile, and she offered her life in exchange, a show of devotion that stalled Nihilus long enough for the exile to recover. She entered a trance, disrupted her length, which actually weakened his force bond, and it weakened him enough that it says the trio, so her and her two companions were able to kill him, right? This is from Wikipedia.
From Wookiee.
How it happened. I don't think Revan could do that by himself.
Mm.
If it took Mitra, 2 other people, and a whole bunch of steps, I think he is too powerful of a Sith. To the point where even Traya can't kill him.
Yeah.
She had to appease him.
Keep him satiated. Yep. So he didn't eat her.
I fully think that, Revan got trapped by the Sith Emperor and put in a forever dream state or whatever. Like, it wouldn't take much for him to just force drain. But what do I know?
So you don't think he could like bounce force drain red lightning stuff coming off the hand? Like, yeah, no. Bounce it off his lightsaber? Like, I'm just joking. Force drain, the way that they depict force drain is just kind of ridiculous, like red lightning or something. It's just weird. But I don't know how you depict that. Like, I get it. So AI took this and they said the following. The initial clash, Nihilus using his force drain straight away, attempting to sap Revan, his life force. Counterattack. Revan counters with a combination of force barrier, powerful offensive abilities, and leveraging mastery of both light and dark sides. That's important, I think. Strategic. Revan strategically exports. Now, this is great. His weaknesses using superior tactics, blah, blah. So with his, you got to think, I guess, and this is part where are we talking Revan in his prime? Are we talking Nihilus in his prime prior to Traya where he was just eating people? Are we talking like, so there, I get where they're coming from, where AI is coming from on this and why it seems to be stacked to Revan. But I think there's also some time involved. Which one do we get, right? Is it LeBron or is it Michael? And is it in their prime or when it, those arguments, LeBron and Michael Jordan, LeBron James.
Yeah, I don't know why that's a question. Why it's
a question? No, it's not a question. Okay.
There's one right answer.
There's only one right answer. And that is David Robinson. No.
Larry Bird.
So why does Revan win though? They say that Revan's proficiency, his strategic and acumen and adaptability are what give him that. So the dark and light side, his strategy and his combat versatility, whereas Nihilus was kind of one-sided. And I guess that was kind of my point, is like he'd go straight and for one thing, and all you got to do is figure out a way to defend that, and you're done. Like, you got him. Pocket sand.
The question is, though, when he is Darth Revan, does he use the light side?
Why wouldn't he use anything available to him? And if you command the Force, is it light side power, dark side power, or are you just commanding the Force? I don't know. I'm asking.
I was gonna say, wouldn't commanding the Force be dark side?
Based on ideology and code, yeah. But okay, so then I guess you gotta say, is Force push a light or a dark side power?
Depends on how are you using the Force. Are you letting it flow through you, or are you using?
Yeah, right. Are you letting the Force command you to use Force push in that moment and you're just feeling it? Or are you telling the Force push? So then what you've just done is open the can of there are no such thing as light side, dark side powers. There's only force power. Is that what you're saying? Because that's a whole nother episode.
I think I know
Does
what.
someone have the capacity
Yeah.
of compassion to force heal someone if they are full blown dark side Sith? I don't know.
Now the real questions are.
God, you're killing me, dude. And there's
Well,
no one watching. Oh, there's 2 people watching.
I only say that
Hey, you 2 people.
because
This
the
is
AI
good.
really points out that like Revan's like superior because he's light and dark, but it's like how many Sith do we know who have been light side, command the light side? They use the dark side for a reason. The dark side is just more potent in those aspects of what the Sith do. You know? And if this is Darth Revan, he's not using the light side.
He was pretty badass. I'm sorry, guys. Like, I love me some Revan, dude. Like, I just know he would have figured the shit. He's Batman. He would have figured it out. What do you? I mean, Cam. I mean, you're the one that used the Batman analogy. I love that.
Nah, I mean, as much as I love Nihilus, I mean, I feel like Darth Revan, wins the battle.
Yeah.
I think
I don't know that
Zane
light
made a
side
great
Revan
point.
does. Is that your point too? Like, does light side win? Does light side Revan beat Darth Nihilus?
I think Revan redeemed beats
Oh,
Nihilus. Once he is able to use both.
Yeah. Would you say that maybe he was one of the first to come close to balance? I think like the father and the son, like that balance, the Anakin balance in the Force, like that.
I wouldn't say the first. I mean, the first Sith even was hated what he did and try to redeem himself. But I do think Revan was a step in the right direction for what Mar did.
We talked about that last week too.
Darth Mar.
Yep.
Y'all should look him up.
We will. Not this episode. Emperor Palpatine, Darth Vader. Who wins that? There's no
Vader.
Luke. It's just them two.
Vader doesn't stand a chance if he's in the suit.
No, he doesn't.
I mean, that's the whole point of why his technology in the suit is.
Hold on, folks. Hold on. We got to backtrack. I spent all this time today doing some shit, and we're gonna watch it. Here we go. Yeah. Okay. There. So see that.
Revan.
So this was Darth Revan. This is what it said. Darth Revan and Emperor Palpatine was.
Wait.
I mean, yeah.
Darth Revan and Emperor Palpatine.
Oh, shiza.
You mean Nihilus? Maybe
That's the wrong one. Hold on.
Spoiler alert. So who is that? Is that Nihilus and Revan?
He would.
Was that Nihilus and?
Sorry. What?
Was that Nihilus and Revan?
Yes.
Yeah, I see
this
it.
one. Nihilus and Revan.
That's cool.
Yeah. So when you have, I know it seems like a something in the tool bag of tricks that he was able to maybe turn back on him force drain. You see that? So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah. So the next one. Here we go. Darth Revan and no. Sorry.
Darth Vader.
Emperor Palpatine and Darth Vader. Who's gonna win this one and why?
Ooh, I love the samurai.
Yeah, that's the only way. You can't use Palpatine or Vader or anything like that in
Yeah.
the AI because it's whatever.
I will
So
say
I
before
was
we-
I was like, give me a final blow, and this is what this character looks like. Vader. This is what Palpatine, the ancient sorcerer. Whatever.
yeah.
Show me the final blow, and this is what it was, and which would be awesome because if that was a hand that was, well, both of his arms are actually metal, and there's electricity, and he's a conduit, then that makes perfect sense. That, as you said, like in the suit
s-
alone, Vader doesn't stand a chance. No way.
I guess it
I
all
mean,
depends on time period we talk about.
I don't even think Vader Mustafar, even if he beats Obi-Wan, I don't think he could beat Palpatine.
Well, in Legends, in the non-canon ending to Revenge of the Sith, he does.
Yeah, I know that, but I mean,
Yeah,
But yeah,
that was a very
I don't-
anticlimactic ending, honestly.
it was funny.
Palpatine, he's so freaking smart, man. Like he knew, like you don't just already have all that stuff there on Mustafar unless you already knew something was gonna happen. He's God. He's my favorite. I know. Somehow he returned. I'll tell you how. Because he thinks 8 steps ahead of everybody else. They just wrote it
Yeah.
poorly. I would have been
Those-
fine with Emperor coming back. Probably even in that way if it was written differently. I don't know if I'm articulating that right, but I just feel like the way it was kind of
He just showed up.
together. Yes. Show me why. Show me how. Or whatever.
Give me some
That'd make too
clothes.
much sense, Dana.
I know.
I do want to
So,
point out that
Mhm.
for this lineup, we are not even saying Darth Sidious, who
No.
Darth Sidious would be pre, right? Because
Yeah, pre-Emperor Palpatine.
he took on the name Emperor Palpatine after. So we're talking Emperor
This-
Palpatine.
No, yeah. I said make
Yeah.
this an ancient sorcerer. This is in the like if Luke
Mhm.
didn't kill him, here he is. Let's say that they're both in that throne room. Luke got tossed over. It's just Vader and Palpy. I just think it's hands down. I'm with Cam. Like there's no way.
I don't know if I'd say
What's
if
he gonna
Luke
do?
was
Is he
thrown
gonna like
over.
try to force choke him, and he goes, I
don't-
can't even breathe anyway, and he like shocks him, and he's dead.
I wouldn't
mean,
say
the-
if Luke is thrown over. Because I think with his emotions, Vader could easily.
Well,
If Luke was thrown over,
No, dude.
oh
this-
well, he did do Force Crush in the whenever is Padme all right? Is she alive? No, and he does the Force Crush thing. Palpatine was not impacted by that. Everything else was, but he wasn't.
interesting.
Yeah, I noticed that shit because I thought the same thing. I thought, well, if he's that pissed off, he can just do like he does and just crush shit. And no, Force
He-
choke him. No,
he in the novelization of it, he chooses not to do that. Like it's a really great
really.
tidbit of in the novelization when he gets put into the suit. They refer to Palpatine as the Shadow, and like the author says, like you realize the Shadow is all you have left, and you're like a fraction of what you could be, and like he can't basically. So
He also needs him to be alive so he can save Padme. That's
I mean,
true.
it's just the force lighting, man. Like I mean, that's the main weakness of that suit, and it was by design to keep him in check. And I mean, there's just nothing he can do. I mean, now unburned, fully
So, yeah, that's the
realized
next
Darth
question.
Vader.
501st Lord Vader marching on the temple. I think it's a closer battle. I still think Palpatine wipes the floor with him at some point. I think he toys with him for a bit, but yeah.
He needs a few years in becoming like, because I mean, Palpatine tells Yoda like Vader's going to be more powerful than you and I. Like that's the way it's going to be. And I think true, if he didn't get burned, obviously, I think that was by design, but I don't think 501st, even if he beats Obi-Wan on Mustafar, I don't think he has a chance with Emperor or Sidious until 5 years maybe post. I don't know. Just depends. I think I know I've watched a couple fan videos where I don't know. I think like one's always like the Star Wars theory one where what if, you know, Anakin doesn't burn and all that, and here he turns back to the light on Mustafar, like Obi-Wan's able to turn him back, and
Yeah, you
the
got the
Emperor ends
kids
up
and
he ends up like killing Obi-Wan, and Anakin just loses it and he becomes like God basically. Kind of head canony stuff, but if he's in the suit, he has no chance.
Yeah, I concur, and AI did too. They said it would be a fierce battle. I don't know about that. Vader, if he was, I don't want to say fresh in the suit, but not old man in the suit like we saw in A New Hope. Somewhere in between, where he still had some mobility, he learned to be a little bit more mobile and use the Force, in a way that keeps him more mobile. Which I believe truly that fan film of the last Obi-Wan Vader fight on the Death Star, that I think is how Lucas. I'm sure he's seen it, and he's like, yeah, because that's how I think he wanted to play it. But even still, yeah, no, Palpatine wins. Dark side mastery, unparalleled. The guy spent his entire life in the archives of not just the Jedi there on Coruscant, but of the Sith. You've got just cunning, deception. These are the things. Unlimited power, of course. The dude knew how to channel even other essence of other Sith before him. Like, that's huge, and that's not new. So for those of you out in listener land that think, what was that BS in the Rise of Skywalker where he was pulling on power from others? Like, that actually has happened several times throughout Legends. If you are that attuned to the Force, light or dark, you can commune with those who have passed. And in those instances, that's why we have Qui-Gon talking with Yoda, and Yoda from beyond talking to Obi-Wan talking from beyond. It's possible. But yeah, freaking Palpatine, dude, wipes the floor with this guy. Any point in his career, Vader gets destroyed. And that's what makes Palpatine's defeat, in my opinion, so special. From a father-son relationship, from a redemption arc, and all the things that we loved about it. But to your point, Cam, we saw that, right? Do we have to keep seeing it every single time? I don't think so. All right, the finals. Revan. What was it that he turned on? He got the Leviathan, the ship.
The Starforge?
Starforge. What would have happened if Palpy had a Starforge?
Well, he doesn't. He had a
Thank
Death Star.
goodness, because I guarantee you if he had a Starforge, it'd be worse. So, who wins that? Who wins that? In their, we know, quote unquote, prime. I mean, he was already old when he assumed the role of Darth Sidious / Emperor Palpatine. We're talking about Emperor Palpatine, not early on. Who wins that? Revan or Palpy? Darth Revan or Palpy? They both spent a lot of time looking into the old arts.
Don't know if it's fair. I don't know. It's weird because Revan is a duelist. He is a duelist. Palpatine likes to use the Force. It was shown with his lightsaber skill. Like, he's good, but he prefers to use the Force anytime he can.
He was starting to get worn down there with Yoda. I think.
Well, and that's what he did, though. You have to think he did a little bit of lightsaber fighting, and then the rest of it was him using his Force lightning and stuff against him.
And the Force,
Maybe wasn't he a master of all lightsaber forms too?
Yeah.
Well,
Palpatine.
yeah, he
Yeah.
preferred the Force.
But yeah. So he had that in his little repertoire if he needed to.
However, as much as you can study from the dark arts, he wasn't there. Revan was.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Revan should win this. Purely because I don't think Palpatine was as strong in the Sith sorcery as we'd like for him to be. And I think that's what really ruined Revan, was the Sith sorcery.
So you think Revan probably could pull this off?
I think there's like
Because
51 to 49. Like it's gonna be close.
So of the 8 that AI and I discussed, that I told them make this work out, do you feel that this is how it should have come between Revan and Palpatine in the finals?
Yeah. I want
Or
Nihilus
are
to
you
be
still
there.
saying Nihilus should be there?
No, I still want Nihilus to be there, but it's more poetic if it's Revan and Palpatine.
Cam?
I think Palpatine clears, man. I mean,
Like you're not even debating. Like it's just there's no question. Like,
yeah, I don't think there's a debate, honestly.
man, Darth Revan was a dual wielder master as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think to your point, the Force mastery. When you can be a duelist with Force mastery, that sort of balance in your attack and defense, it's how do you you can't. I see what you're saying. Yeah, there's just no way. If he's a master of all forms and as powerful as he was as a Sith architect, as a sorcerer, as a whatever you want to call him, yeah, dude, I don't think there's a way. Here's what they drew up for this one. No, not that one. Hold on. We already this one. Yeah. So I thought it was interesting. It was like they knocked off Revan's helmet, even though I told him have a helmet. And then you've got all these different weird things around him. And I kind of was thinking about that whole, like we were just chatting about, I am all the Sith, right? Or whatever. Like you've got all of this knowledge being represented here. Yeah, I don't think Revan can. I don't think he can beat him. I think they would fight for a while. I don't know that it would be the longest fight in all of our the longest match in our matchups, but it would be a decent match. We saw that I think with Yoda. It was a decent match. I don't think he was playing with Yoda. I think he was playing with him when he was throwing the stuff at him. But he was trying to kill him. He did not want the Jedi are relentless. I truly believe he felt that. Yeah. So Palpatine wins it all. How do we feel about that given the 8 that were in the tournament?
I mean, he's the greatest Sith of all time, man. I mean, I think it's the only rightful. Vader, not in a suit, I think clears if he's able to reach his full potential. But, I mean, anything other than that, I think it's the obvious choice is Palpatine.
You think it's detrimental for us in our thought process to try to imagine Darth Vader in a way outside of his suit where he's all powerful? Whatever. I think
it doesn't feel right. It's I don't know if his aura is the same outside of the suit, if you know what I mean. Like, I think part of the appeal of Vader is the suit, how massive he is. People are like, what is under there? You know what I mean?
There's a
And
GNN article about why he's the most. I wrote that one, but no, you're exactly right. There's a visual to that too, and a word of mouth to this that you didn't have on the 501st March. It was just like, oh, everyone died, all the Jedi died. Like they had no idea.
it's I think Lucas said Prime Vader is 80% of what the Emperor is,
Mm.
and in terms of how we and I interpret the Chosen One prophecy in different ways. I mean, I don't even know if full potential Anakin's even like I don't even know even if AI can.
Hmm.
I don't even like how are we supposed to put that into?
Oh.
I mean, I've read stuff about Luke at the end of Legends becoming like the peak of what a Jedi is supposed to be, but
Mhm.
Palpatine, I think, in terms of Sith, is the epitome of what a Sith is, given the fact that Darth Vader was confined to his suit.
Yeah, and I think you brought this up before, and we talk about this redemption stuff. I've been doing some thinking about this whole Sidious because I know you always say he can't be redeemed, and I actually believe he cannot, and the reason is for me, um, he's made the decision, and he's comfortable with the decision.
Yeah.
He will live that decision, right or wrong, even if he thinks, oh, maybe I shouldn't have. Doesn't matter. No, he'll never think that. He knows what his destiny is because he's choosing to manifest it and make it on his own. That's badass.
Well, he's a
So,
psychopath, man. Like
well,
he doesn't feel empathy, dude. Like,
no, well, well, I don't. Yeah,
have you
yeah.
read the Plagueis book?
I have not.
You should read the Plagueis book, and then we can talk about
Okay,
this topic again. I think you'll
sure.
get a different. Just or listen to the audio book chapter of when he murders his entire family, and tell me that guy can be redeemed.
No way.
Yes way.
Yeah. Yeah, I always feel like that dude at the electric chair has that chance, right, to say I'm sorry, and I know what's coming to me, and I can't change it, but I am sorry for what I did. Truly, if that individual who was a serial killer killed 5,000 people, whatever, regardless, like in my gut, I have to think right or wrong from a human perspective, from the force perspective, in the grand scheme of all things. The question I think becomes, yeah, was he truly sorry? What's his motivation? Sure, great. Yes, but does it actually make up for the millions of beings that they've killed, especially in the Palpatine situation? No. You still have to pay for that, right? And I think that's your point. Like you can't get away from not having the responsibility or accountability to the shit that you did. And I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is if in the case of Vader, he never was fully all in. He says he was all I've read some of the comic and I've seen where he's done some crazy ass shit. But the whole point of all of his motivation was compassion and love for Padme. It wasn't to rule the freaking universe. That is the difference for me of why Vader can be redeemed. Palpatine probably can't. And I did not come to that till much later. Thank you, Cam, for freaking making me all cynical and shit.
Well, Palpatine is making the same decision to do what he did 10 out of 10 times. Like you said, Vader, other dark side users, ones that have been redeemed, clearly aren't making the same decision that they make 10 out of 10 times.
But even in the beauty of that storytelling that Lucas does, coming back to the beginning of the show, those arcs, the way that he did that arc in those three movies made you want Vader to be good. You wanted him to be good. Did you want Kylo Ren to be good? I didn't care. I mean, it wasn't written in a way. He killed my favorite character, which yes, Dana went off on that finally a couple episodes ago. But I when you did that, like I hate you. Like I don't care if you, I don't want you. I don't care about your quote unquote redemption arc. That being said, yes, there's bits that I do appreciate, but I think you guys know what I'm saying. The overall story of Kylo Ren is bullshit when you compare it side by side with the redemption arc of Anakin Skywalker. And you can tell me I'm wrong, but I won't believe you. It's different. So I like the bits of the arc with Kylo Ren, but overall, it's not Star Wars. And maybe that's your point, Cam, is that it didn't feel Star Wars. It didn't, I don't know. Didn't feel Star Wars to me.
I'm trying not to go on a rant.
Oh, go on a rant. I don't care. We got time.
Do it.
No.
I'm waiting. Whoa.
No, I'll save it for another day.
I got a few days till the Destiny DLC comes out. Go for it.
No, kind of parting shots on this. This was fun. I think we can do this again someday. But maybe have some fan interaction. Have you guys select the folks, and then we'll run them through AI and see what happens. I like the AI idea because it gives us. We have our thoughts, but AI is kind of, I don't want to say objective because it only has so much that it can draw from to make its decisions. But it's fun, and I think we have these discussions of who would win, LeBron or Michael, right? Who would have these discussions? So we can do that too with the Sith. There are plenty of Sith that we didn't bring up. I think Dooku's absolutely one that we could put in this 8. Again, this 8 was what it was mostly because I had an article where I felt like these were the top 8. Just my opinion. Nobody from Lucas agrees for sure. So yeah, this was great, guys. Thank you. That was fun. We have a couple of other things before we head out tonight, and I don't want to get anyone upset or anything, but when it comes to outside of movies, we're talking about like Disney World, or we're talking about video games, or we're talking about other forms of entertainment than the movies. How important is it to you that there's a level of continuity, one, between what you know as lore and what you're seeing at Disney or wherever? And two, is there something you want to see live in the Disney World, whatever, Galaxy Edge? If you haven't been there, it's pretty awesome. But is there something you want to see that Disney should be investing in for Star Wars fans for us to enjoy? The Galactic Cruiser was cool. It's too damn expensive. No one could do it. Zane, I know you've been. Have you been there to Galaxy's Edge? Cam?
No, it's a trip Woods and I are trying to plan eventually. I really want to build a lightsaber, get the robes, kind of just do the whole thing. But I hope maybe next year. I think we're talking about doing it around Thanksgiving. I think next year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
yeah, we did it. It was right around that time, I think, too, Zane, when we took you. I did the Savi's workshop with the lightsaber, and I don't know how the experience is today, but when I did it, it was. I mean, you're in a room with several people. There's like 10 people, but everyone's in character. All the people working there, and they're walking you through things, and it's an experience. You pay the $200 for a freaking lightsaber, but it's the experience. So long as they're still doing that for you guys, dude, buy 8 of them.
yeah, that's the crazy thing, man. It's just everything's so expensive,
It is.
and it's like they clearly have I think what was it, the hotel that they did like the sequel characters, and due to the non-relatableness that I constantly rant about on this show, I think that's why that didn't really succeed very well. I don't know. I'd like to see like a Mos Eisley cantina type deal in Disney World. I think that'd be kind of cool. You know, you could make it kid friendly and adult friendly, or you could have like an adults only top section. I don't know, something, you know, but like go in there and you feel like you're in the cantina, you know, or but it's, if you're gonna spend 2,500 to, I don't know, maybe $5,000, I don't know. Depending upon how all in you go, it's like, I mean, is it worth it?
Yeah.
You know, if I'm gonna spend that much money.
Yeah, give me something like the cantina. I agree. Give like a murder mystery dinner theater. Like that sounds silly, but you're going to the cantina, you're hanging out,
Yeah.
all of a sudden like laser fire breaks out and some lights. What the hell just happened? I don't know. We were just eating our dinner and then we got to figure
Like
out what
a
happened. Like that would be awesome.
escape room type deal
Yeah.
with Star Wars. That'd be kind of badass.
I mean, we have character greets, right? We're sitting and Belle comes up and, oh, how's your dinner? Oh. I mean, that's cool. And Mickey, that's great. But dude, what if Chewbacca came out like while you're eating? He's like trying to like beat you up because he thinks you're the one that killed the guy. I mean, I don't want to get beat up by Chewbacca, but it's kind of big. Oh, they have I saw this today. Sorry, sidebar. Peter Mayhew doing the lines in the suit in the scenes. You hear his voice like he actually is saying like all that stuff. It actually there's dialogue.
Interesting.
And so you hear him saying the dialogue, and then of course they go in and put the over the top. But you hear like, "What are you doing? We're trying to leave." In Empire, and he's yelling, and he's like, "Oh!" just yelling and banging shit. And he's like, "No, the whatever couplings broke," or what. Like, it's freaking awesome. You guys need to Google that. Peter Mayhew in Empire actually getting that dialogue, and it's several scenes, not just that one. But anyways, yeah. I you know one of the cool you got to do the Rise of the Empire. Rise of the Empire. What was the name of that ride? Rise of the Resistance. Rise of the Resistance.
Ooh, that was a good ride.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
loved it.
Okay. Look, like there's experience rides, and then there's like roller coasters, and you know whatever. This
And then
ride,
fast.
you stand in line forever. You get in, and it's like on the
2.5
side of this,
hours.
like you don't even know it's not that big. It's just tiny little, and then the doors open after you've taken off, and it's this whole thing, dude. The Rise of the Resistance has to be one of the most incredible experiences I've ever had at Disney.
Some of the most immersive for sure.
Immersive, yes. Yeah. Okay. So I say that, but then I also did the Guardians this last time, and oh my god, oh the Guardians was insane. But yeah, I think any immersive piece that Disney can do, the Galactic Star Cruiser, it was the price point, man. We looked at it because, you know, I like Star Wars. And it was going to be like a grand or more a night.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, minimum of 3 nights. Are you serious? I don't have that kind of money. Who has that kind of money? Not me. So yeah, now nobody gets it because you set the price point so damn high you can't do it anymore.
Well, it's like the movies too, man. I would love to experience going like the hype of like a Force Awakens level. Like you got to go see this Star Wars movie, or like where were you at when you saw Force Awakens? Like I was so locked into the Force Awakens, I didn't even know Josiah and I saw that together at the same time. You know, like I was just so there in the movie theater, and I'd love for the movie theater to become popular again because, like, I think the second Avatar film, like watching that, like that was just
It was so good.
Like the first one, it was one of the first 3D movies I think that I saw back in the day, and the whole of glasses, it kind of made me nauseous, and I can't do the whole roller coaster thing either, and it's just the thing. But like when I saw the second one in theaters, I was like, this is one of the most beautiful movies I have ever seen in my
Yeah.
life.
Cameron did
And
it
I
right. I'm sorry.
and I and I want Star Wars to have that. You know, I want there to be some hype around. Like, I mean, shit, you're going to see Phantom Menace like 3 weeks ago, man. Like, I was so excited. Like, got home early from work, like showered, like put on my Phantom Menace shirt, got to the movie there like an hour early. Like, I was hoping to get like one of the popcorn buckets and stuff, but apparently you had to buy those online ahead of time, which is bullshit. You know, but I was I'd like to have that again, and I hope that they can recapture that magic. But again, movie theaters, you know, God forbid you want to take your significant other on a date and you're gonna go spend $50 at $50-$60 at a movie theater.
We will we went to go see what was it, Fall Guy. I don't know if we talked about it in the show or pre-show.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. So we went to see Fall Guy, and I'm like, can we watch that like in the afternoon? Because I don't want to spend like I need a matinee price for Fall Guy.
Yeah, for real.
I can't. I would rather just watch it at home. Right? But when you when you go, dude, you go to Premiere, right? So you can get that. It's like $6, $7 for the kids pack or whatever, and it comes with fruit snacks, a drink, and
Yeah.
pop. It's a box. You take that box, you rip open the side where your cup and your fruit snacks go. Now you've got like a box of popcorn, and then you drink. You know, you can refill because it's Premiere, dude. That's the way to go. But you're right; it's too damn expensive. And it's not because people pirate movies. That's not why it's expensive.
Dude, I mean,
Whoa,
people are
do
gonna
that.
go see. I mean, look at Barbie and Oppenheimer, man. Like, people
Yeah,
want to
watch
go
it.
see good stuff. in
Barbenheimer was
theaters.
insane.
Did you
Yeah,
watch
like,
it in the theater?
I watched
Nope.
Oppenheimer. Yeah.
So you're gonna
Not
spend
Barbie.
money for a good movie in a theater. Is that what I heard?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair. Are you gonna spend money on a shit movie in the theater? No.
Probably not. No.
Are you
think
gonna
I
go
have.
spend money on a Star Wars movie in the theater, period? Or do you have a when it comes to Star Wars now?
I
Is
will
there a-
probably. I will. As much as I bitch and moan about the current state of Star Wars, I'll be the first one to go see it. I mean, if I'm gonna have an opinion on it, if I'm gonna hate or love it, I gotta have all the facts. So I guess I'm gonna go see it. Like,
So do you feel they know that? They being the proverbial they know you're gonna go see it at least once. You're gonna go see it. They know that. Do you think that's true? And if so, does that bother you?
yeah, I mean, it's me. I mean, it's my fault. Like, if I want change, I should not give them my money, you know? But I also love this franchise. I mean, there's even in all the garbage in the last 10 years, there's still good stuff in there. And I will praise the good stuff that's in there. And I kind of go watching, hoping stuff's going to be good, you know? And I don't want it to be bad. I hate that everything's so corporified, you know, not to get too conspiracy theory on it, but I mean, I want it to be good, but
Mhm.
if it's not good and I don't like it and I paid for it, I feel like I can have an opinion on it.
No,
Man,
absolutely.
I sat here a month and a half ago. You and I were hating on the Acolyte trailer, and I'm hearing people that I respect say that, you know, good stuff's coming out. I mean, I will be the first to come on and say I was wrong and I should have shut my mouth or waited till it come out to make an opinion of it, you know. But
I try to be the antithesis to you, right? Like, no, there's good stuff. Like, we're good. No, and I know you don't feel that. Like, it's not all bad. And I know you don't feel that about the new stuff. It's not all bad.
I think
but those things that are bad, I think for you make such an impact that it taints the rest of it. Like what they did with Luke taints the rest of it for you.
I am not one of I'm one of many that say watching The Last Jedi felt like a fu to Luke fans and Star Wars fans. I mean, that was that was super unfortunate. It was kind of like Han Solo fans on steroids, I think, for Luke fans, because there's just no way that they could have done what they did. Like, it's still hard to think about today. And then it's unfortunate because in that scene or in that movie, there's a really great scene with him and Yoda. And I will sometimes watch the clip on YouTube, and then I'm like, God, that movie's still so garbage though. And then like and then the rise of Skywalker, it's just like the uncooked shitty cake at a birthday party that sat in the sun for 3 days and just spewed garbage. But I mean, they're not going to do anything until the stock price hurts, until the stock price is unrecoverable. That's kind of where the decisions are made.
So here's the thing, dude. Like, look, I'm a musician. I'm a writer. Like, creative. I know I'm gonna make shit that not everybody's gonna like, but I don't intentionally try to make something that no one's gonna like, because that's suicide, right? I don't think Disney's intentionally trying to make shit that no one likes. I just believe they're not using the opportunities and resources available to them to make shit that we do like. So they're not making it shit on purpose to piss us off. In my opinion, I think they're making shit because they're just trying to get something out quick. And they don't have time to vet everybody or spend time with Filoni. Who would you like to come on as a writer? I don't think those are the things that we wish would happen, but I don't think they're happening. Because we do trust Filoni, don't we? Can we collectively, us three, do we trust Filoni? Oh, Cameron. Do you not trust Filoni, Cameron?
I like his animated stuff, and I liked most of Ahsoka. I mean, my eyes were watery, definitely in episode 5 of Ahsoka.
Oh, okay.
But I would love if Tony Gilroy could somehow be a key player at Lucasfilm in terms of the creative direction of Star Wars. I think if Star Wars could Andor's definitely a slow burn. I mean, I'm going to give it a rewatch because I don't think I watched that in a great headspace after Kenobi. But I think if Tony Gilroy could be in the creative room for Star Wars, I think we would be in a good place. And I don't know, man, if Leslie Headland kills it and she's, and people like it, and she, outside of some things that I won't go into, I mean, if she makes good Star Wars stuff, I mean, why not throw her in the room too, and let the creatives be creatives, and maybe they'll give us cool stuff.
So there's a guy, his name's Scott Steriker. If you're out there, Scott, I know you're not listening, but if you are, I've tried to reach out to you. Yeah, Zane. Yeah. Dude, I was in a band with this guy for several years. Couple bands. He's a hell of a guitar player, and huge Star Wars fan. He would come over. That's how Zane knew him. He would come over and we would play music, but then we'd watch Return of the Jedi or we'd watch Empire. Like this is what we did. And dude, I met in college. Huge Star Wars fan. And when we would write music, the way he would break it down was like this. Like I would say, "Ooh, I don't know how that sounds. I guess it sounds okay. It sounds pretty cool, but musically," and he goes, "Dude, Does it sound cool? Yeah. Does this lyric sound cool with the way that yeah. Well then fuck it. Oh, sorry. Well, who cares? Like, is it cool? Is it awesome? Is this a amazing story we're telling? Well then screw everybody else if they don't like it. Okay. That was George Lucas in 1977. I am putting as much money as I can into this, especially in 81 with Empire. And screw you guys if you don't like it. I know this is cool and I'm going to do it. And I think of Scott because he's a huge Star Wars fan as well. And that statement, because when I think of George Lucas, I think of someone that wrote a story that he believed in. When I think of, I'm sorry, Kathleen Kennedy and that group were writing to perpetuate the paycheck. It's two totally different approaches to the storytelling. Not that either one of them is wrong, so to speak. Just we as fans prefer a specific way. Well, but we don't have the same pool as someone with, stock. However, to your point, Cam, which is why I asked the question 10 minutes ago, would you go, like, are you still going to spend your money? Right? Are you going to, if it sucks, you're going to watch it that one time, but you're not going to watch it after that. Not that you're
I'm
bored,
not.
but you're
I'm
not
not
going to
gonna.
spend money on it.
I'm not gonna. I'll probably watch it once, and then if I'll give you this example, Batman versus Superman theater cut, I've probably seen like 7 times.
Oh, you liked it?
I loved it when it first came out. I was a big Snyder guy. I've seen the director's cut a lot. I mean, it's not my favorite depiction of Batman, who's probably one of my top 5 influential fictional characters in my life. I love that movie, and people hate that shit. But like, I loved it, and I saw it a lot, and I thought it was cool. And the Batman with Robert Pattinson, I love that too. Saw it a couple times, and I mean, if I like it, I'll see it a bunch of times. And I think the problem, like you said, they're checking boxes, man. There's nothing creative going on back there, and people that want to be creative can't be. That's why Favreau's not a part of Marvel anymore. Like, think of the first Iron Man film, and I think those trilogy of Iron Man films are really good, but it's definitely kind of a little bit of a drop off, you know. Um, I will go see any new Star Wars project. I'll make sure I see it at least once, and then if I don't like it, then I'm probably just not going to partake and buy the toys. And I mean, I bought every freaking Lego set they've come out with in the last like 6 months, dude. Like, I want to. I still love it. It's gonna take a lot for they'd have to do some checkbox stuff with Luke that would make me never want to partake in it again.
Zane, who bought all your shit for you growing up? All your action figures and all that stuff, or whatever you were in, who bought that stuff?
I think I was with my hard-earned money.
Yeah, I'm sure it was with your hard-earned money. It was your folks, right?
It's that
Your
gas
folks-
money.
Yeah, your folks bought the shit because they knew you loved it, right? So I think, and I think we've talked about this before, they're missing the boat here. Like, we're the ones that are going to buy the stuff for the kids, right? So if you create something that the kids are going to really like, you better make damn sure the parents like it too, because they're not going to buy it for their kids if they don't agree with, some ideology or whatever. And I'm not making this show about anything, whatever. I'm just saying you got to know your audience, right? We know we know our 5 people audience, and we know them really well. Some of them, all of them, are friends or family. So, like, we know our audience, we know what we can speak to, we know how we can speak it, and it's a legitimate example. They are not knowing their audience, and Cam, you've brought this up several times. They do not know their audience, or to your point from many shows before, they're choosing not to care, and they're more about checking the boxes. See, here's what happens. Like I'll share this. I don't care. This is, I mean, we talk about business in here a lot because that's what I do. Um, I straight up like, you know what? I can't say that. We're just gonna move on. Maybe another time. I
He
can't.
straight up
I can't get
does
into
his
this.
job. He
I
does his
just
job.
had one of those yield signs pop up in my face.
He
Like,
does his job and he does it well.
I do
Amen.
my job and I do it well. And I
That's what
know
you
when
do.
I should shut up and move on. So we're just gonna shut up and move on. I can't.
Do it.
When okay, we all have jobs, right? When the person in charge comes in and says, "Hey guys, got this idea." That's all they say. Your boss comes to you and says, "I have this idea." What's the first thing that pops in your head? Is it sweet? Is it is it oh god. What is it? When your boss steps in, "I got this new idea." That's all that they say. What's your gut tell you for your specific boss? And I don't want to get anyone in trouble. This doesn't have to be a current boss. This, I mean, an example. I've had bosses that have walked in and said, "Oh, dude, I got this idea," and I'm like, "Oh shit, this is gonna be bad." And I've had bosses that have been like, "Oh yeah, let's go. Oh, let's go. I'll run." Think about that. So how does this work out with Disney? How does this work out with Sith? I mean, someone's got to come in and say, "I've got an idea," because you're not just going to sit there and keep rechurning the same shows that you've already had. People are gonna watch them. And then you're done. And Disney Plus, people are gonna start unsubscribing. You've got to have more content. Does it scare you when they walk in the room and say, "I've got this idea"? That's the question. With Acolyte, I was scared. I wrote 3 articles. I've said it before because I'm scared.
I'm so scared. I mean, I kind of know how a publicly traded organization operates, and I mean, the decisions are made at a round table. That's where they're made at, and not the typical round table I think you'd expect from a creative standpoint. You know, I think they care because they want to make money off of it. They don't like if Star Wars was just failing. I mean, Disney would sell it to the highest bidder at any given time just to get it off their balance sheet. You know what I mean? Just let somebody else handle it. But it's just, I don't know. I think at the time, I think Kathleen Kennedy was the right choice. I think going back to articles 10 years ago, she was the heir apparent. But did she love it as much? Did she love the things that her former bosses made as much as she may have let on to believe? And is she allowed to make certain decisions as she's allowed to as president of Lucasfilm, given that they're under the Disney umbrella and the certain stance that Disney has taken on things and the battles that they have chosen to pick with their audience? And that's really all I got to say.
It's tough because if they don't make money, we don't get more content. And that's a balance that any business has to do, right? I mean, I have this business that, yeah, hit me up, guys. You have to have a balance on what people want versus what you're trying to provide. Like, I know what I want to give folks, but they don't know they need this, right? So the storytelling, hey, I know Lucas, I know what story I want to tell. They don't even know they need this yet, and I'm going to give it to them, and it freaking blew our minds. Now this next set, yeah, we're like, but someone had to sit there and say, you know what, I don't want to destroy this franchise. I truly believe this is the way to go. And in the boardroom, when that decision was made for The Last Jedi or for The Force Awakens, I truly believe everyone in that room had every best intention. for Star Wars Legacy.
But they were trying to churn something out. I mean, they bought it in 2012, and Force Awakens released in 2014. Like,
14, yeah, that's right.
yeah, I mean, not saying they got to spend 5 years building the first film by any means, but you know, it's they were trying to get something out, and it was the Force Awakens was a safe play. Dana, would you consider the Phantom Menace a safe play?
No.
It was an
No.
ambitious, yeah, yeah. That's, I mean, it's a very ambitious film, and
But
has
as we talked about earlier, Cameron, there was no pre
yeah,
laid out. There was no template laid out of what we would think could happen. So he could do whatever the fuck he wanted.
yeah. But I mean, still, Force Awakens is one of the highest like trailers I think of all time, and it's a definitely where were you at moment when you saw that type deal. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
That Finn moment, yeah, you're right. It was awesome.
I mean, it is what it is, man. I'm hoping you know with shows and like House of the Dragon, Dune, Barbie, Oppenheimer, like there's still creatives out there that are gonna make good stuff, and I hope I'm I'll remain skeptic until I see it, but hopefully the Acolyte gives us kind of reinvigorates the fandom, because I think while the books aren't very my speed, maybe the High Republic can be the next era that they want to go into. Maybe they can give us something that show the Jedi at the height of their prime, and then we can just keep going further back with the James Mangold movie, and just give us something. Give us something. They can do it.
I have a question, and it might be a conversation killer. I hope not. We've been clamoring for more content as Star Wars fans forever. Is it because we love it so much that we just want to see the stories that we've imagined come to life on screen, in books, in video games? We want to see it so bad that we're willing to maybe even give in the capacity of it's not great, but it's good enough. Do you feel the fandom is willing? I don't know how I'm trying to articulate. I don't know how to articulate this. Do you feel the fans are maybe okay with mediocrity because it's more content, or were we and now it's like, okay, f you guys, we got the content, but like give us something better now? I guess that's
After the movies, like the casual fan that saw the movies in theaters and then their kids saw it and whatever prequels, like the casual Star Wars fan, like, oh yeah, I like Star Wars. I like the person that you see with the shirt on and Walmart, and you try to spark up a conversation, and they're like, oh yeah, I like it. Have you seen Clone Wars? No, I haven't. Animated show's not for me. Like my stepdad. That's the type of fan I think of, and they'll watch a movie and like, it was okay. Like it is what it is. Now people like us, I truthfully think right now it's been there for a while. It was split down the middle. Mandalorian brought some people back.
Yeah,
Nobody really watched Andor,
which is a shame.
Kind of unfortunate, but I think it's really split, and I think a large section of the fans, I sometimes fall into that, are just trying to see if it's probably going to be bad, but I am watching it hoping that it's going to be good. I think Disney, with the pandemic and all that stuff, and Disney Plus, I think Disney Plus is one of the worst things to happen to Marvel and Star Wars and a lot of other stuff, because it became more quantity versus quality,
Yeah.
and that's where they've shot themselves in the foot, because if you haven't seen the She-Hulk TV show, you don't know what's going on in Moon Knight, or you don't know what's going on. If you haven't seen WandaVision, you don't know, well, why the hell what is she doing in this Doctor Strange movie? And like, you're missing stuff. Versus like, yeah, you could watch the Clone Wars and appreciate, but you don't have to watch Star Wars: The Clone Wars to make the movies kind of make sense to you, right?
Mhm.
It's an after product of the product that came before, and it helps. Yeah, sure, it helps fill in a lot of gaps, and it is great moments in there. But like, my stepdad doesn't have to watch that to know that he likes the prequels or the originals. He doesn't have to watch Rebels to like you know what I mean? Like, the movies are the main commodity and what gets people drawn in. And then if they want to watch the other stuff or they want to read the other stuff, they can do that. They can do it as they please, but they're not feeling like they're missing something. You know?
So I feel like you're saying like the way that they're connecting some of this is actually doing a detriment to the fans, because like in the sense of Ahsoka, if I wanted to watch Ahsoka, I don't know who the F Ahsoka is unless
You've watched other
I've
stuff.
seen the Clone Wars, unless I've seen Rebels. I don't know who Fulcrum is until okay, I've seen like I get like so if you don't see those you're exactly right. If you watch so and that's where I think I could deal with the slow pacing of that show because I had seen Clone Wars, because I had seen Rebels. I knew the characters. I was waiting for this strategic thinking, speaking the way that I just kind of, although it was a little slow in the pacing, I understood why it was the way it was. It was a very thoughtful, strategically thinking, critical thinking show. But my poor wife, I think, like at times I had to be like, "Oh, that was this guy, and that was that thing, and that's why she did that," because she didn't watch, 80 episodes of the freaking the Clone Wars or whatever. Who does? Who does? I mean, I do, but not everybody. And she starts to fall in love with Ahsoka, who's a great character. And now it's like, well, okay, do you want to go back and watch all these so that you get even more? And she's like, God, that's how much time. So yeah, I think if you're Disney, you're right. The Disney Plus thing has been a bit of a detriment to the I'm a fan, I love the movies. Oh, Ahsoka, I don't even know who that is. Okay, maybe I'll watch. Oh, you mean I gotta watch this other shit to even know who this. The same thing happened with Marvel. We watched the preview of whatever the new Marvel movie is. They had the TVA in there.
The
What was
Deadpool
it?
one.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, Charlie, you haven't seen season 2 of Loki. You've got to see season 2 of Loki before you see this. So that you
No, you
really.
don't.
No, hold on. I need her to see that because season 2 of
Well,
Loki.
I'm not saying it wasn't good. I'm just saying.
Ugh. But then to really, truly, fully understand the TVA, you got to watch either season 1 or 2 of Loki. Both would be better. To understand the TVA's role and everything and how it relates to not Kane. What's his name?
Kang.
Kang. Thank you, not Kane. Kang.
He who must remain.
Yes. So
He who remains.
I think by them doing all of those bits, while it's great for the embedded fan, not so great for the casual fan.
And the thing with Ahsoka too is the live action counterparts of the animated characters, they're so different. They don't really feel like the same. And I've seen think pieces on Twitter and YouTube of people dissecting why Ahsoka is the way she is, and I get it. She's tired or whatever, but like it doesn't. They don't feel like the same character live animated to live action.
Are you saying Rosario Dawson cannot pull off snips?
She does her best, but there's just some animation. There's much better ways to portray emotion and to portray a voice, and you're able to record a voice line in so many different ways, and they're going to be able to convey it in such a different way animated than they can live action. And whereas with Andor, you get the same guy that you see in Rogue One. He's able to. It's the same person theoretically because it's an actual person, not a animated figure. Like Sabine was my least favorite part of Ahsoka because she didn't even feel like the same person
She doesn't.
as
No, I
she does in
agree.
Rebels, and it's
Neither did Ezra.
yeah, like they don't feel like the same people, and then people that didn't watch those shows, they don't even know or care. That's their first iteration of Ahsoka, and they're like, "Why is this Debbie Downer Jedi someone's favorite character?"
Yeah.
Which is a shame because Ahsoka is one of the best written characters in Star Wars.
Amazing. I
But
think Filoni loves her.
oh, clearly, but I mean, the crux of it is they've taken away the event factor of their IPs, and it's so freaking expensive that like, dude, I'll just pay the $6.99 and I'll watch it when it comes out on Disney Plus or Amazon Prime. I'll buy it or I'll rent it for $4 or whatever, and
Yeah.
then I can just go on about my day. And if it's great, sure, I'll do the upgrade and buy it digitally. But is it gonna be great? History tells us it's a coin flip.
It didn't used to be that way. I mean, when we got Return of the Jedi after Empire, there were a lot of people that were pissed. You can find plenty of articles that they did not like the tiny bears, as they called them. They did not like
Ewoks.
yes, they did not like another Death Star. Rump rump. There was nothing about Return of the Jedi outside of those damn Ewoks that I didn't like. Everything about it I liked. And actually the Ewoks bit I didn't mind. I didn't mind. I think that speaks to the political piece that Lucas has always had underneath, that the little guy can win against the big overreaching government. But that's not what we talk about in the show. We're not going to talk about my libertarian voting record.
We can.
So, but yeah, I mean, Andor is a perfect example of. Have you guys? I don't. Okay, so I watched Rogue One, into A New Hope, and then watched Andor. It takes a week or two hitting it, here and there. But watching it like that made me really appreciate Andor. Cassian was like the line in Rogue One where he says, "You are new to this rebellion. I've lit like I was raised with it." Like that I never got until seeing Andor, and I could see the well, first of all, he's a damn good actor. I can't remember the dude's name. But I could see in Andor how it was written, why, like I understood the line. That's good storytelling. So Disney's capable. They have people there that can do this properly. Why aren't they doing it properly? That's the big question. I ain't got an answer.
You got to check the boxes, man.
I ain't got an
There's
answer.
boxes that the shareholders got to make them check, and they will check it, or you won't be able to make your project.
It was great having DJ Elliott on to get some of the other side of this, where we're the fans, right? And he's a fan, but he's also embedded. I think hearing his honesty of yeah, it's great. Like the content's great and this and that. It's not always easy. I think to please all the fans was one of the things he said, and I concur. For even here in these three battles, like we had differential opinions on this or that. Overall, yeah, we sort of agree on this. This is how it should probably play out. But we had some small disagreements. You're not going to get all the fans to agree. But should you be writing shit to appease the fans? And that's a question I have for you. Should we be expecting them to write for our pleasure? Or should they be challenging us on some level? Maybe not the levels of the box checking that we're trying to avoid talking about, but what are your thoughts on that? Should they be writing stuff for us, or should they be writing stuff for the story?
Both.
Yeah.
Because if you do it well, you can do both.
Is this
And
the where Lucas says we have to have the Ewoks because we have to show X. We have to show technology and strength and power. It's not everything. There's more to it. So you're saying, yeah, we can have both. We have to be intent on the message and not just check boxes.
yeah, well, not have the message be the story. Let the story. I don't know. Let the story be the message. Like, don't tell me this character's great. Show me why they're great. Don't Don't tell me I need to love this character. Show me why I should love this character. Why do I want to follow them on this journey? Why do I want to be invested? Make me invested in your story. Like you said earlier, like every one of us gets to the third act of Revenge of the Sith, and we're hoping he doesn't turn, and we've seen the movie 100 times. Why?
Yeah.
Because we're invested in the character. We love the story. We want things to turn out the way we want them to turn out, even though there's millions of things that show us it's not going to be that way.
Yeah,
You know?
nobody's shocked in episode 3 when he becomes Darth Vader. But
Yeah,
but we're all like shocked. Like, are you kidding? Why? What are you doing?
yeah. I mean, I always say Revenge of the Sith is Lucas's magnum opus. Like
Yeah.
that is that. I don't care. I mean, it's everything that's great about Star Wars, in my opinion. And with all its flaws, because there's flaws, but it's about as if he could have done that for 2 other films, it would have been one of the greatest trilogies of all time. But got to tell a story. But they a lot of the bad projects, they do a lot of telling us, and they do a lot of filler, and they just throw a lot of stuff and they try to make it stick. Whereas with Andor, if you stay the course, you get invested in the character. You start pulling in lines from Rogue One, you're like, holy shit, that makes so much more sense now. And you like Cassian Andor, even though you know his fate.
Yeah.
And they can do it. It's just, are they going to be allowed to do it?
Going back in time and doing the Andor series after we already know what happens to Cassian.
Yeah, you're like, why? Like,
why would you go back and show me that? Like, I felt the same way. And then as I'm watching it, the first couple episodes, I'm like the Tony Stark meme. I'm like, oh my God, this is so dumb. You gotta develop it. I get it. You got character development, and I'll deal with it because I trust. I know. Probably shouldn't, but I trust. And in this case, I was absolutely affirmed in my trust because what a freaking series. And then I like Andor season 2. Seriously, you're gonna do a second season? Okay. And I know we're pushing 2 hours, but just one more question and then we'll close it out. Mando. So we have a movie coming out and a new season, or just the movie?
I hear different reports every other day.
That's why I'm asking the question. What do you guys know? No?
No.
I just don't. I think they're running in this. They're beating the dead horse, as my daddy would say.
Grogu's their best-selling toy. They're gonna keep churning them out for good stuff. I think with everything that's flawed about Mando season 3, I think let them have his a happy ever after. Like
Let him go. Yeah.
just they're at their place on whatever planet they're on, father son. Like let them rest.
You think?
And that they've taken too
Okay.
long. So sorry.
No.
I don't know. At this point, it's gonna be weird, especially with that Mandalorian movie coming out. It'll be the very first movie that you have to know something. I think.
Oh, sure.
I mean, when you really you have to watch Mandalorian to know what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
You can watch every trilogy and be fine. You can watch Solo and be like, yeah, Han Solo, right? You don't have to watch any seasons. You don't have to watch any shows. You don't have to read any books. You can watch Rogue One and you're like, yeah, it's a Star Wars movie.
Oh, so that's how they got the Death Star plans.
Yeah. But it's all the movies, which, as Dave Filoni has said, as Lucas has said, those are what is canon. Those are what is canon. Now, the shows and stuff are canon, but the movies are what matters. The movies are what matters at the end of the day. And I think it scares me to see what they're doing with Mandalorian, especially with what we've been talking about, how Mandalorian is a show and you have to watch all 3 seasons to know what's going on. Plus the Book of Boba Fett, which has more Mando in it.
Oh, I know. Let's not even go there.
And I mean, let's keep it a $1.50. It's gonna have to do something with Ahsoka. So now you have 3 shows you have to watch, not including Clone Wars if you want to know about Ahsoka, Rebels if you want to know about Thrawn and Ahsoka. I don't know. That's what scares me.
Damn, that's true. No one, if you didn't watch Rebels, you wouldn't know who Thrawn was showing up there at the end. Like, who the hell's this guy? Like, and why is everybody afraid of him? I mean, I guess you could step into that, but I'd be turned off if everyone else knew who this character was but me, because I didn't watch 80 episodes of whatever. I see your point. That sucks.
Mm-hmm.
We have just a couple minutes before 2 hours, so we're gonna quit. It's Cameron's fault. This is absolutely, we know now for sure, we have had the control, the variable. Debbie was not here tonight. It's not her.
It's me,
Cameron
man.
was here tonight. It was Cameron. But there's a reason we have Cameron, because it makes our show a little bit better having Cameron on. Thank you for being on always, Cameron.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, we'll close it up. What's going on for next week? I don't know. We've got episode 40. Maybe we'll do like I don't know. We'll do something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I do know that in 10 episodes, it will be episode 50, and that we will have a huge throwdown for. I also know that in July I started this podcast. So we are coming up on 1 year. So we had episode 39 coming up on 1 year. If I do 40 episodes plus in 1 year, that's not very much time off. So I think, as we talked about in pregame, and those of you in TikTok world would have gotten to hear, we may take a little bit of time off coming up into the next year. That'll give everyone an opportunity to watch the new show, The Acolyte. Give us an opportunity to come up with some shows to talk about the dark side pieces to The Acolyte. Not sure how all of that'll look, but next week we will have a show, even though The Acolyte is set to premiere on the day of our show. Yeah. So be ready for that. Debbie, we did miss you tonight. I know you think we don't miss you when you're not here, but we do. And I'm actually kind of sad that I didn't see Solo Girl pop up. Not even for like a hi, guys.
She's getting some rest, man. She deserves some rest.
I don't know. She didn't do nothing last week but our show. So, no.
Yeah.
Get some rest, Deb. I told you, get some rest. You're good. Darth Zane has don't forget tomorrow night, or no, that's Wednesday. Thursday night, his show is on again, the MC no, not MCU Monday, Cantina Happy Hour. I'm not sure what they'll be talking about, but it is already scheduled. Let me see if he says what I got the schedule right here. Nope. Okay. So, I don't have anything else, man. We'll have a new show next week. It'll be episode 40. It'll be super fun. My birthday is tomorrow, and I come in a size PRL inlet pipe for a 2019 CTR. If you know what that means, shoot me some money, please. It's the last piece. This is the last piece I need for my car.
The final shape.
The final. I'm gonna have to put in an intercooler after I put in this piece, but the intercooler can wait a bit because I'm not tracking it right now. Intercooler. Yeah. I think that's it, guys. This is a good show. That was super fun. I love the what ifs type stuff, whether it's the what if shows or the what if battles. I think it'd be cool. I don't know what you guys think. We'll reach out to the fans maybe towards the end of the year and do this again, but their top 8 and see if we can see what happens with that. Cool. What do you got coming up this week, Cam, besides yawning because you're exhausted because it's been a crazy week already, like with the holiday? Just kidding.
Nothing, man. I just want to golf. That's all I wanted to do.
God, you're killing me, dude. You've yet to. I know. Like, I'm just here for the show and not social hour after. But I have played a bit, so I suck, but I love it. It's fun. I told Charlotte we'll get Woods and her out, and they'll drive us around, and we'll just drink some beer and play some golf. How's that sound?
Dude, A&M course is in pretty good condition. I played it this past Saturday with some buddies, and you can buy 5 beers, get 1 for free for $20. Now you could definitely go buy 2 12-packs cheaper for that. But I mean,
like not right now. Okay.
No, not right now. But yeah, we can go play the campus course. We need to make
I've never played. I have yet to play in this town. I've been here 7 years now or what? Like, I've yet to play. I haven't played golf in that long.
We get good public courses around here, so we'll need to plan a Saturday or something or Sunday.
Seriously, I'm dead serious, Cam. Seriously,
I'm game.
Charlotte said she'd go out. She doesn't play, but that her and Woods, like I said, just drives around.
Woods doesn't play either, so.
Or they could be in one cart and we'll be in the other. How's that?
Yeah, it's gonna be so freaking hot. They'll probably last like 4 holes, and they're gonna sit at the clubhouse.
It has been hot. So that weather, you guys end up okay over there, son, this weekend? Or and today, especially, we had some crazy wind come through this area.
Yeah,
you good?
We were chilling.
Oh, the tree that almost killed your car.
Yeah, I don't know. We haven't had anything bad storm-wise recently, other than the storm of people for graduation.
Oh yeah.
Let me tell you, trying to go to McDonald's
probably better.
$5 for McDonald's is 5 minutes away, and it took me an hour from leaving my apartment to getting back.
Are you serious? For dashing a McDonald's or for getting McDonald's?
For driving to McDonald's, it's literally like 5 minutes away.
Yeah.
It takes maybe 10 minutes in total to get there and back.
I will tell you, here in Texas A&M world, Charlotte left at like 1:45 and was down at the GSC in 15 minutes from where we live. That's insane. But school. That's fast.
Oh, that's good timing, dude.
So there's no A&M traffic. There's no school traffic. Like, it was fast. And I'm getting off the toilet at that time. Like, hey, I'm gonna call her. Her last little bit of the trip. No, she's already there. Yeah, okay, sorry. Well, whatever. Anyways, not sure what the show is gonna be next week. This was fun. Palpatine, I'm sorry, folks. No, sorry, not sorry. Palpatine's always been my number one and will continue to be. Even AI agrees. Palpatine is just super OP. His amount of knowledge in dueling, in force powers, in force lore, he's just complete. He's complete, I think is how we can put that. So
However, if you don't agree, I'm here with you.
you think
There's always
Revan would
one.
have beat him? You really
Yeah,
think
but we
Revan
don't
would
get
have
into
beat him?
that.
You didn't say that earlier.
I will die on this hill.
You think
I
Revan
did say
would
that.
beat Palpatine? How did I not catch that earlier? You mentioned it like some tiny little thing. Like, do you really feel that way?
I believe it took a very powerful sorcerer to get Revan, and I don't believe that he was that powerful
Wow.
as a sorcerer.
Okay. I can give you that. I wish maybe I didn't hear that earlier that
I
you were
think
so
you were
emphatic
just
about it.
listening to yourself instead of me. It's okay.
Probably. I do that a lot.
Yeah.
All right. On that note, just kidding. Next week, not sure what the topic is, but we will have everybody back. Hopefully, Debbie will be back as well.
I should be.
You should be, maybe. We
Maybe.
will not.
We'll
we
see.
have decided, I guess, we will not be talking about the show. Just so that we don't spoil anything. But then after that, we may be taking a hiatus. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll let you all know. Thank you all for joining. There were several of you, and we appreciate it. Thank you all in TikTok land. Again, check out Cantina Happy Hour tomorrow. We also have plenty of shows. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button. Go to geeknewsnow.net, and you will see all the articles from all of our lovely geekdom. Everything from DC to Marvel, from Star Wars to Star Trek, and anything in between. You all have a great week. We will see you all next week. Remember, kids. Wait, hold on. Do you have any gigs this week, Zane?
No.
All right. Remember, kids. Peace is a lie. There is only passion. Good night, everybody.